The NFL Week 6 has wrapped up, and we are officially a third of the way through the season. So let's take a look at how this week went. Starting with Thursday Night Football, rainy day in Jacksonville, where the Jaguars won 20-17 and beat the Titans. A good win for Jacksonville. They now lead the AFC South after that whole division was in a four-way tie. Lawrence just 147 and a touchdown. The conditions made it very hard to throw the ball for both teams, but more concerningly, Will Levis hurting that ankle. He's out 6 to 8 weeks for the Titans. That's not good at all, but Tannehill led almost a big comeback win, but both running backs, monster days in the rain. The final game of the London series saw an overtime upset where the Denver Broncos beat the Bengals 27-21. An unbelievable win. Russell Wilson, 283 and 2 touchdowns. Cortland Sutton caught both of them. Joe Burrow threw for 3 touchdowns. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins both had big games. Mixon could do nothing on the ground for the Bengals, and that's what hurt him in this one. Broncos improved to 2-4. The Bengals, a contender for the Super Bowl, is 2-4. The only game that wasn't one possession in the 1 o'clock slate, the Lions beat the Falcons 31-17. Another game where the Lions started off slow, but they finished red hot. Goff, that's not 24 for 24. It's supposed to be 24 for 34. 227 and 3 touchdowns for him on the day. For the Lions, though, Jahmyr Gibbs could be out for the season. That hurts. So David Montgomery will 100% be the full starter there. Desmond Ridder just 160. The Buccaneers hold off a late comeback from Carolina to win 27-21. A big win for Tampa Bay, who's now 4-2. Baker Mayfield, 270. Another huge day for Mike Evans, 142 and 2 touchdowns. Bryce Young threw for 249 and 3 touchdowns in his best career game. But the Panthers are 0-6, unfortunately. The only winless team in the NFL other than the Arizona Cardinals. Here is the start of the one-possession frenzy. You have the Ravens hanging on 21-13 to beat the Steelers. The score looks a lot closer, but Baltimore dominated this game. Kenny Pickett, 231 and a touchdown. George Pickens, 103 and a touchdown. He's starting to come alive. Lamar Jackson, 263 and 3 passing touchdowns. One to Isaiah Likely, another one to Rashad Bateman, who tore up the Steelers' secondary. Ravens lead the division at 5-1. Steelers drop to 4-2. Here's another one-possession game. The Jets upset the Patriots, who had won 3 in a row, and the New York Jets at home take them down. Zach Wilson, 225, 2 touchdowns, had a late touchdown to Garrett Wilson for the Jets to take the lead. Dalvin Cook had a touchdown, and Breece Hall's 2-week absence. Mac Jones, 239, 2 touchdowns. Juju Smith-Schuster, 2 receptions, 70 yards, and 2 touchdowns for the Patriots. The Jets improve to 2-4. A contender for Game of the Year, the Texans upset the Vikings 34-30 in a crazy game, and C.J. Stroud has led the Texans to 3-3, tied on top of the division. 341 and 2 touchdowns, had a rushing touchdown as well. Dameon Pierce had a touchdown. Monster game for Brandon Cooks and Nico Collins. Kirk Cousins threw for 360 nearly, 2 touchdowns, but a late interception to Will Anderson Jr. sealed the game. Big-time game for Justin Jefferson as well. A monsoon, it felt like, in Landover, where the Bears get their first win of the season, 13-11, and knock off the Commanders. Fields, 119 through the air. DJ Moore had 2 for 47. Their only touchdown was on a scoop and score by Rasheem Green. Sam Howell threw for 191, and Brian Robinson had a touchdown. They went for 2, and they got it with Sam Howell on the ground. You couldn't do anything through the air. Don't know how Sam Howell had the performance he did. The Dolphins whooped the Cardinals 38-19 in a game where Arizona kept it close until the second half, and then the Dolphins offense ran away. 2 of 5 touchdowns through the air. Tyreek and Jalen Waddle had 2 of those 5 touchdowns. Kyler Murray put up some good numbers, had an interception, though. Lay had a rushing touchdown. Marquise Hollywood Brown had 93 receiving yards. Rondale Moore had a decent day for the Cardinals, who are one of 2 defeated teams, as mentioned earlier. 40-3, Kansas City went to town on the Los Angeles Chargers. By the way, this is supposed to be an Arrowhead, not SoFi. Mahomes, 4 touchdowns, but Easton Stick got hurt, so the Chargers had to go to Max Duggan, who only threw for 102 and a touchdown. Easton Stick left the game in the second quarter, and Duggan just could not survive. And that Chargers defense was wore out. Kansas City took advantage and put up 40. America's Game of the Week, this one was in SoFi Stadium. The Eagles win 37-10 against the Los Angeles Rams. An absolute domination show. The 4 o'clock slate was full of blowouts compared to the tight 1 o'clock slate. Jalen Hurts, 193 and a touchdown. Monster day for DeAndre Swift, 136 and a touchdown. Stafford threw it 58 times, and the Rams could only get 10 points out of it. Cooper Kupp, 101 receiving. Stafford also threw 2 interceptions, which were both costly. The Sam Darnold-led San Francisco 49ers take down the Seattle Seahawks 20-13. The Seahawks tried to come back, but Geno Smith could not lead them down the field. And Sam Darnold, 188, touchdown interception. Good day for McCaffrey. Geno Smith, 231 and a touchdown. Tyler Lockett had that only touchdown for Seattle. Kenneth Walker, 74 rushing yards. The Seahawks were 3-1 and had dropped back-to-back games to the Steelers and now the 49ers to slip to 3-3. The Buffalo Bills dominate the Green Bay Packers 28-10. Green Bay, of course, was 4-1. Many people were calling them not so playoff worthy, and this shows at 156, 2 picks for Jordan Love, but Josh Allen, 245 and 2 touchdowns. Even without Stephon Diggs, Buffalo is 5-1, and they are in business right now, sitting second in their division behind the Dolphins. But many people, when they face in Week 8, that could possibly be for the top of the division. Sunday Night Football on NBC, the Cowboys win 32-17 in the Meadowlands and take out their rivals in the New York Giants on the Giants' second of 3 Sunday night games this year. Prescott, 221 and 2 touchdowns. This game was kind of meh for the offenses. Saquon Barkley had a good game. Daniel Jones, though, 2 interceptions is costly. The Giants have dropped 3 straight games after being 2-1. Dallas is 5-1 and sitting on top of the NFC East after that big win against Philadelphia last week. And then Monday Night Football, the revenge of Derek Carr, and he knocks out his former team in the Vegas Raiders 30-17 as Jimmy Garoppolo, 198 and a touchdown. Trey Tucker had a punt return, but rumors are swirling that Jimmy Garoppolo, if he doesn't win next week, he could possibly be benched. And they play the Chiefs next week, so that's a tall order for him to ask for. But the Saints have won 3 in a row, and all of a sudden they play the Bucs in Week 7. The winner of that game will lead the division. 2 teams on a bye this week. You have the Browns and the Colts getting a well-needed rest as both those teams are in playoff contention at the moment. But to the standings for the AFC, just a reminder, in the description is the Super Bowl Sweepstakes document. Make sure to sign that to be a part of a Super Bowl 8 experience. The Dolphins lead the AFC at 5-1. Kansas City and Baltimore also at 5-1. Jacksonville at 3-3. Buffalo 5-1 with Pittsburgh and New England rounding out the playoff standings with the Texans tied all of a sudden for that final playoff spot. So the AFC will definitely be an arms race between a couple of teams. In the NFC, still has the last 2 undefeated teams left, the Lions and the 49ers, with Dallas at 5-1, Tampa Bay at 4-2, Packers, Eagles, and Seahawks all hanging on the playoff spots, with the Rams, Saints, and Vikings also tied in the hunt. Don't count out the Giants either. Still at 2-4, still with a good chance at making the postseason. This is ASC, signing off.